Now, what is constructive politics, and is there a need for that in Singapore? The call for constructive politics in President 26May 2014's address was debated by several MPs today. Workers' Party Chief Low Thia Khiang first raised the issue, saying no matter how politics is described, what's important is the outcome of the political process. He said constructive politics does not happen by the order of the government, nor through a national conversation or public consultation. Rather, political values and culture, along with impartial institutions trusted by people, are what he said are needed to achieve desired outcomes. However, members of the ruling PAP disagreed that a heavier emphasis on constructive politics wasn't needed.
If the people continue to support the government party that uses high-handed tactics against its political opponents, we are endorsing a bullying political culture. If the people support a governing party that uses government resources, including civil servants, to serve its partisan goals, we are condoning the abuse of political power as an acceptable culture. Similarly, if you support a political party which believes in overthrowing the government by taking mass political action against the government regardless of the laws and proper channel to change things, you are building a culture of lawlessness. If you support a political party conducting its political engagement with a habit of playing racial politics and mudslinging and launching personal attacks on its political opponents, you are building a tough political culture. If you support a political party with a habit of fixing its opponents, you are breeding a political culture of fear.
It was quite interesting that Mr. Lau opened the Workers' Party slate speaking almost entirely on one topic, constructive politics. And I think it's actually a little bit tragic if the focus is going to be on politics and not on the policies that will help the people.
It's timely that President Tan reminded us of constructive politics, and I take it to mean Singaporeans first. And here, I think it's important for us to point out that when a policy is good, regardless of party, we should say it's good so that we can continue that. But when a policy is not landing so well, we need to listen to the ground.
But arguably, the biggest clash was between Mr. Lau and Senior Minister of State for Education Indrani Raja. Ms. Indrani said the political process should result in better lives, and this means offering practical alternatives, acknowledging trade-offs and being responsible.
Next, constructive politics also means not flip-flopping when convenient. So, for example, you don't ask for more foreign workers to be allowed in Singapore in 2012, and then in 2013, after the white paper, say that there should be a complete freeze, and then a few months later, ask for more foreign workers again. Because there are real trade-offs, and people's livelihoods and jobs are at stake. And above all, constructive politics must mean upholding the highest standards of integrity. It means that if you take over a town council worth hundreds of millions of dollars and then give out contracts to your own supporters worth millions of dollars without a tender, what kind of political values are those? When asked straightforward questions, for example, whether you pay your suppliers, your supporters, who are also your managing agent, a salary, in addition to their charging fees as a managing agent, and then decline to answer, what kind of political culture do you build? How does that engender trust? The President laid out an entire agenda. It is significant that Mr. Low's speech was wholly devoted to the topic of politics and disregarded entirely the rest of the President's speech, which outlines the government's agenda for the future for Singapore and Singaporeans and how to make life better for Singapore and Singaporeans. There are various ways to interpret this disregarding of the entire agenda. Perhaps Mr. Low feels that our policies are not working, or Mr. Low has no constructive alternatives to the challenges that we face, or perhaps none which he thinks are constructive.
It is not that I don't agree to constructive politics. What I was saying is that constructive politics is only a term that is used. It can be just merely rhetoric of the government. what is important is the outcome of political process. What the President wanted to see, the desired outcome, is that whatever differences we have, we can move forward as one united people. So it can be whatever politics that you can describe them. What is important to me is what is the actual action of the government? Action speaks louder than words. I also like to clarify, or before that, I think it's useless for the PAP to keep on harping on the town council matter. Let me first explain that the award of the contract to the managing agent is through an open tender. It is not that we are, the chairman is not here, okay, never mind. But what I know is, it is go through an open tender. It is not something that we sign under the table. So I think if we're talking integrity, perhaps you may want to give us more detail to prove that how is it that the Workers' Party lack integrity in awarding a contract. Secondly, if she's referring to accounting issue, Auditor General is currently auditing the town council account. Is she suggesting, and or before the auditor comes to conclusion, and the government already have some pre-concluded conclusion of what happened, was said the implication that the Minister of State is talking about. The other things like whether we flip-flop, whether, no, we are not. If she wishes to have a full debate on that, please file a motion. We are prepared to debate that.
He said just now that constructive is a term, or constructive politics is only a term, is rhetorical. That was my point. It is not. Politics is real. It is real because it impacts on the lives of people. It is real because what we say and we do in this parliament makes a difference to Singaporeans. It is real because you stand for something and what you say must mean something. It is real because whatever you do has an outcome and an impact on the lives of people. So when I spoke about constructive politics just now, that is what I meant. The way you approach it and ultimately its impact on the lives of people. I don't think I need any further explanation on that point. His second point was Mr. Low raised the issue of the town council and said he believed it was through an open tender. I'm not sure if Mr. Low was actually present in Parliament when that point was extensively debated, but it is in the newspapers, it is on record, it is in the Hansard, but it was quite clear that the initial award of the contract was not as a result of an open tender, and that I think was stated and agreed to by their chairman. They had given an explanation for that subsequently, but essentially the first award was not pursuant to a tender. It is not necessary, I believe, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for me to go on at length. I have stated our position, or my position. Mr. Low has expressed his earlier. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that the way we conduct our politics in Singapore has or makes a big difference in the lives of people. And it is important, therefore, that our politics should be constructive and should not be purely opportunistic nor populist.
And those are the reports from Parliament today.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Well, coming up.